to get you here, but this is a weird setup and I gotta turn this off.
Put to the side.
No, you can come this way. Why?
Okay, I think that's good. Those are like pilot headphones.
They're so heavy. Oh, here's
Those
another
are
pair.
like
Let's
the
see if
ones
these
from my
work.
grandpa's plane that he
Let's see
used to
if
have.
these work, okay? Because I bring my own.
Let's go see what it looks
Yeah,
like.
let's see if they work.
Side
Probably only get it
eyes
on
are
one
very
side. Let me know if you're getting anything at all.
I do hear music.
You do? On one
I just don't
side?
hear my voice.
Oh, because you're not up. Your mic's down.
No, I hear it on both.
You good? Is it up?
Maybe a little bit louder. Oh yeah, that's great. Thank you. See, I'm not
Is that in your
good at
shop?
this
No.
stuff. That's a hell of a turntable with this.
So we're recording there. I've got the CD. Set up my own cans.
So how many people listen to the?
I don't get a count, unfortunately, on when I'm doing it live. We don't have a way to count. A lot of times, like last week, my guest people listening left and right because they were texting them all the time. So it depends on how many. I know I have people listen back east. I know that. I have family.
Okay.
But I don't know. It depends on. I hear it.
I already have one of those.
Yeah.
Fancy.
If I put that on with these, it'll be a little weird.
Yeah, probably.
And hopefully some of your people, especially the live streaming, that they got the links that we put out.
Yeah, I did put a link on social media today.
Plus, that's why we also upload it to SoundCloud, so that way they can always go back and listen again. And I release the SoundCloud link. I used to do it the night before, but now he edits everything.
Okay. I can also add it to my little link tree after the fact.
And I can download raw stuff for you before we leave if you have some.
Okay.
And that's... Did it finish? What's going on? Oh, what happened?
Yeah, I didn't bring any like flash drives or anything.
It did it.
You finished?
Yep, already. That was weird, but it says
You want to click on it to see if it plays?
It's
Or?
not Memorial Day weekend.
that's because it's all taped in there, right? I gotta get your bio out on my phone.
No problem. Take your time.
See what,
I'm just happy to be here.
and I'm happy that you said yes. I thank you for that. I think I'm gonna start us off with what I think is my favorite song for this set. To us, it'll give you time to read. Why is somebody on the phone on all the ones?
You're sending hearts. These are having a good time listening to it.
I know who that is. We're rolling.
You just pick like random songs off the album or no?
No, I try to. If I had done this ahead of time, what I usually do is we talk, and as we talk and things we talk about, I weave music and lyrics into our conversation. That's how this show works.
Yeah.
So the reason I chose this is because, from what I remember trying to listen last night, it relates more to what we've talked about, the charity work and where we are with life and how things have influenced your life to come to this. that's how I try to weave. And you may say something to me when we're talking right here, because I think in music, because that's how I used to talk when I was a kid. I was really fat, so I only would do things through singing and dance, and never really spoke. So I think in song lyrics.
Okay.
So sometimes you may say something. If I really knew your album really well, which unfortunately I have to admit I don't, I would go, and I would hit a song and you'd be like, what? If you see the videos from past stuff, you'll see how it works. So today I don't feel like I'm as on my game, but we gonna have some fun.
Okay.
Because I've been working this god-awful job. No, we just gonna talk. I've been working this god-awful
I hope you get out of this thing.
show. And so thank you. I gotta get you a bio.
Do what's best for all. The help you need when you fall. Just won't need you. The choice is yours. Write the music and the melody for who you are. We know giving problems makes them bigger. So when will we stop taking?
Sarah's been surrounded by music throughout her entire life, but it wasn't until she started street performing on the streets of Los Angeles, California in 2016 that she decided to pursue her career as a singer-songwriter. She has since released her EP with 2 singles. EP, 2 singles, a music video, including debut album being endorsed by leading guitarists and pioneers in the ear-tone strings and performed with a NAMM show main stage in 2019. The music video Noteworthy shares the spotlight and rotation of Universal City Walkway. Work from legendary artists such as Justin Timberlake, Shawn Mendes, and more. Known for her uniquely soulful voice and smooth, clear tone that cuts like a knife, she aims to provide a refreshing outlet for pop listeners. Cool, okay. Try this again, Greg. You got it. Sarah has been surrounded by music throughout her entire life, but it wasn't until she started street performing on the streets of Los Angeles, California in 2016 that she decided to pursue her career as a singer-songwriter. She has since released an EP, 2 singles, a music video, her newly released debut album Interlude, which I have my own personal autograph copy. It endorsed by Living Guitars, Empire Ears, Clear Tone Strings, and performed at the NAMM show main stage in 2019. We are going up in about 30 seconds.
Are you noticing my
I'm just
microphone's working?
obviously practicing so I won't flub.
If you do, it'll be fun.
I know, right?
I do it all the time.
Thank you. Seriously, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
We are the same. Who's in the background?
Tim Concepcion. I met him at Republic Pie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
He's so good. He's worked with Shoshana Bean from Broadway.
Shoshana, that's my girl. We go
Yeah.
back. We go back.
Do you know
Way longer.
Logannis Foley?
Yeah.
He's
absolutely.
on the album.
Oh, here we go. Oh yeah. Hello everybody, and welcome to another version of Just Keep It Moving Powerfully. And I'm G-Top, your host, and I'm so excited. I have one of my cool favorite new artists in here with me today. Miss Sarah Lightman. Say hey, girl.
Hi, how you doing?
And we're gonna have some fun. And I have Tyler, her producer, over here. I just had to give the hand boy, you don't stop playing that guitar while I'm trying to talk. Here, see? He's still going. But don't worry, we're gonna put him to work in a little bit. Sarah and I met, how long ago did we meet?
That's like a little over a year ago.
Is it,
I think
has
so.
it really
I don't
been
know
that
what month
long?
it has been, but
Wow.
but it's been at least a year because it's been a while since I played for Republic of Pie. That was the venue that we met in North Hollywood.
Right.
But I played to sub for a friend not long ago, and it just I realized just how long it's been since I've been there
And
when I
time
went
just
there.
goes, right?
Yeah,
Time just,
I would say it's been
seriously
at
goes.
least 6 months.
Yeah, at least, because
At
I was there with
least.
my buddy. He had just moved here from Florida.
Yeah, it's been a year.
And
at
that's the
least.
first time we hung out, and he had just moved back to Florida. And I hope he's listening because he's a big fan as well. I just realized I
Aw.
hope he's listening on IG.
Thanks for being a fan.
Because remember we were there and you gave us a little
Yeah, little cards.
ads,
I always
yeah,
give out
that
little.
we still have
cards.
at home. It's like these little Sarah things that you can put on your body or.
Oh yeah, the stickers.
Yeah, the stickers.
Yeah, I
Sarah
gotta order
stickers.
more of those.
And we had such a great time. And we were talking, you know, and it's so funny. We mentioned off air. Oh, do you know Shoshana? I'm like, yeah, I know.
Who
I know
doesn't know
Shoshana
that?
for that's back in my old New York
Wow.
days. That's back when I was singing with the Broadway Gospel Choir, which is now Broadway Inspirational Voices, and she came in because was she doing Wicked then? Or it might have been before Wicked. So we've known each other since the '90s.
Wow.
And the same with Levance and so many
Yeah.
other wonderful, because Levance and I go back also to a friend of mine who's no longer here. A friend of mine and Shoshana's, her name is B.J. Crosby. And she was the original B.J. Crosby of Smokey Joe's Cafe on Broadway
Oh, wow.
and many other things.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
She passed away a couple years ago. But yeah, we all go back to that world. Back then it was fun. I just saw Shoshana, wait, hold up. It was a costume party at our buddy Tracy's house, Tracy Toms, who's been on the show. And I'm trying to think, was that almost a year ago? Was that? I don't know, because we've run into each other so much within the last year from different concerts and stuff. But yeah, you're right up there with all of them. So you've sung with Shoshana as well?
No, on the song that everyone just heard right now
Mhm.
called "We Are the Same," which is available everywhere if you really want to hear it again.
Oh, we're going to get the plugs.
We gotta hear it again. Tim Katenjian, who sung, he sang backups and played keys on every track that has keys on it.
Mhm.
He played. He has worked with Shoshana. I forget where it was exactly, but I remember reading it in his bio when I was putting all our bios
Mhm.
together. So.
Mhm. He's probably worked with a lot of that other crew too, because there's a lot of
Probably.
people that all. Do you know Jason Page by
I
chance?
don't. I'm
Okay, so Jason and Shoshana, like go back a long way, because we do this show. I think I mentioned, yeah, it has been over a year because
Yeah.
the show's coming up. The show I was telling you we do every year, that's the Beatles
Oh.
Nativity, both Hard Day, Silent Night.
Right.
And I remember telling you about that. So
Yeah.
it has been a while, because that's coming up again.
It's crazy.
Like, wow.
Last year was like bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
It's like, boo girl, go. Bye, Felicia.
I like boo. It's
Yeah.
appropriate. It's October.
Exactly. Well, Jason also created. Well, Jason's right now. He's back on top because he's actually the original theme song to Pokemon.
Oh, wow.
So he came when
a
all
great
that
song.
came back. He's what used to be the beatbox for Michael Jackson. I mean, Jason is everything. So he created the show. He and a couple other people. It's called Both the Hard Day, Silent Night. And what it is the nativity story told to the music of the Beatles. And we do it once a year on holiday time, and it's all different arrangements from rock to gospel to jazz to like big choirs. And it's the nativity story totally, but it's told each year they change the theme. So one year was like what was going on in the world. We had all those explosions and murders and everything a couple years ago, so all that's kind of featured. But it all still works within the nativity story, so they make it so that it's a non-denominational story that everyone can enjoy no matter what the faith or lack of or whatever.
Mhm.
And then every lick of music is a Beatles song.
Wow.
And it
That's
works
really
every
cool.
year, yeah. So we digress because we just talking like usual. So let me get formal like I always have to. I'm going to read a little bit of Sarah's bio for you. Like I said, I heard her in Republic of Pie, and I was talking and talking. I was like, what? And I stopped and turned my head, which I know. Folks really know me. I don't get impressed often because I've been around some bomb singers like Shoshana.
Yeah.
So for me to stop doing what I'm doing and go, what? Yeah, she's got it going on, y'all. If you don't know, you will know. Here we go. Sarah has been surrounded by music throughout her entire life. But it wasn't until she started street performing on the streets of Los Angeles, California back in 2016 that she decided to pursue her career as a singer-songwriter. She has since released an EP, 2 singles, a music video, her newly released debut album, Interlude, which I have an autographed copy. I just want y'all to know and I'm not touching it. She's been endorsed by Luna Guitars, Empire Ears, and Clear Tone Strings, and performed on the NAMM and AMM show main stage in 2019. Her music video, Noteworthy, shares the spotlight in rotation at Universal City Walk with work from legendary artists such as Justin Timberlake, Shawn Mendes, and more. Known for her uniquely soulful voice and smooth, clear tone that cuts like a knife, she aims to provide a refreshing outlook and outlet for pop listeners. And that's just a little bit about Sarah, because she's also a humanitarian. She sticks up for the rights of others, and she's out here doing her thing. And so that's what we're here to talk about today. And she's also a very bright, beautiful spirit. You kind of feel the energy off of her. And I'm going to keep talking about her, but I'm going to let her shut up right now. So, you know, I think, what video was it that, I think I Googled it, or you may have sent me something. I saw something was really interesting with you and your dad when you were young, and you were at the piano with him.
So that was part of when I did, when I was the unfortunate person to be affiliated with Pledge Music, which is no longer. It was kind of like a crowdfunding platform. So I wanted to, the album that I put out is almost like a concept album in a way, because it has a story of its own, which is my life and sort of what happened after my dad passing away. Because my dad passed away when I was 14. I had just started getting into music maybe a year before that, like really like wanting to like maybe do it. I was a little tiny child, and so like I'm like 13. Where am I gonna go? I'm just gonna, like, you know, I have an allowance and I rake the leaves outside and I get paid $10 for doing it. That was like my life at the time. And I go to middle school and I do choir. So my dad was a singer-songwriter and was also getting back into it and wanted to release something. And so he did a showcase at this place called Cafe Improv, which is a very artsy place in Princeton, at this this community center with all sorts of visual art, but they also have music. So like once a month, Cafe Improv does music, and it's been around for a year. So my dad hadn't been there in a while and wanted to come back and just workshop some stuff. So then I guess he saw, since I took an interest in it, he was like, oh, do you want to sing with me? So that video, that little clip in that video, which is still on my YouTube if you really want to watch it, because I was really proud of the work that me and my friends put into it. I kept it up there just for that.
Plus it's you and your father, so.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I asked Tom, who's the host of that show and the person who's like in charge of it, if he had any footage of that night, or just any footage of my dad performing. Because I wanted to put something in the reel so people could get a feel for what my dad was like, even though he's not alive anymore, and they were just pictures.
Yeah.
So he sent me that video, and like I just remember like crying pretty badly after seeing it. Like it was just like kind of surreal, because you hadn't been in that place in that year in a very long time. So, and I laughed because I don't sound like that at all now, and like I was such a little kid. I was like awkward and going through puberty, and
as we all do.
Right. So like it was funny watching myself just like dopily follow behind him on stage, like really excited.
But look at the training that it brought. Look at what it prepared you for now. You know what I mean? If you hadn't had that, you know, you may not be where you are now. And luckily you had those moments with your father. Yeah. A lot of people don't get that. So that was really great, no matter how. See, you say you looking at it like this awkward kid, and I was looking at it like, wow, this is a special moment. She got to do this with her father, so it's such a special moment. And you brought up something about art and things like that, because I know you were telling me how you use painting and art therapy, all that kind of stuff that you're involved with, organizations, and I would love to get into that, but you just sparked something that made me want to play another one.
Okay, you do it.
So here we go, folks. We are listening to Just Keep It Moving Powerfully with the wonderful Sarah Lightman and Tyler. I don't know your last name, but y'all know I can never forget.
It's Tyler Davis.
Tyler Davis, thank you. My boy Mahan back here. And I almost was going to pronounce your name right, but I think now that it's kind of our thing. It's kind of our thing. I have him say his last name correctly in the mic for me, because sometimes he does it like this. So even though I practiced today, but I kind of feel like it's our thing. So you know, come on, do your shout. This is my boy Mahan, who does my editing, my filming. He does it all, and it's done in less than a couple days. Wow. And he is doing this for me as a volunteer for free. So I can never thank this man enough. So here we go. This is Vahan.
We'll see soon.
Boom! There it is. Okay, so here's some more Sarah posts. It's Sarah Lightman. Sit back and enjoy MG Talk. You're listening to Just Keep It Moving Powerfully. Now, you may ask why I chose that song.
Graduating? A lot of people like that one.
I chose it because we were just talking about you and your father starting and how you come to a different place. You graduate. You see how my brain works now?
Yeah.
This is what I mean.
I got you. I like it.
I try.
Absolutely. No, what's cool is you're listening. And you're digesting.
Yes. That's what I attempt to do. I'm not always good at it, but I try.
Well, which is why we created the record. I mean,
This also good. This is why
hey, come on.
Hey, what? Let this knee heal, and I'm gonna give you something. My knee surgery like a month ago. That's why I was hopping when we were down. When I heard the music, I was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. We got some live guitar going on. Is anybody there? Are your people there?
Yeah, they're watching. They're
What's
saying
up,
hi.
Pete?
Right, you're there. He's trying to wave to you. They're having a good time because they're behind the scenes. So it's special.
Right, exactly. We're filming it.
They're one of the most my parents still fans of some of the most dedicated, sweetest people I've met. So.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. I wondered if he's listening.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's like I just forgot that I went through that because you don't see it when you're doing it.
Right.
It's like wow, I was such a crazy little kid.
You know, and those moments make so much difference because when I was a kid, like my parents grew up when I was really young and stuff, but one thing that me and my sister had was when we listened to my father and he'd come over, whatever. My father's one that got us singing and my mother was a dancer.
Oh wow.
So my father sang doo-wop group in the 50s, so I grew up singing harmonies. That was my thing. So those moments, no matter what else went on, those are the moments that kind of stay with you, that you build upon. So that's where I got my ear from for harmonies and learning how to blend. Even though my voice is a certain voice, but when I have to blend, I can change it to blend.
Yeah.
If I hadn't done that, if I hadn't had that experience with him growing up,
You would not.
right. Same thing with you. I'm sure you probably have many things that have come from that moment.
We could talk about me being 4. I had a tape recorder, a Fisher Price tape recorder of my dad's music, a tape. Because you have cassettes.
I still got
And I would just rewind it and play it and try to imitate it. And I was like 4 or 5 years old. Just been like, why don't I sound like that? Like I've been trying to imitate what he was singing on the tape recorder.
Oh, that's
My parents would make little tape recorders of music for us to listen to.
That's cool.
It was really sweet, yeah. My grandparents did that too. When they would go on vacation, they would do the classics. And they would say, hi, this is Grandma and Grandpa. Like, this is, we're going away, but we've made you some music to listen to while we're gone. It was really sweet. Like, it would mostly be kid songs like, Yes, We Have No Bananas, but it was, the gesture was really cute.
I gotta do some stuff in the middle here, then we'll come back in. Because I have to do this half hour, so I need to do some stuff in.
Advertising.
And then we'll come back in.
Yeah, lots of fun.
And I'm gonna try to leave a little air, like you were saying for the edits. Like right here, I'm gonna try to leave a second of air.
95.1
Did that deliberately so that when we edit, I'm also possibly going with another radio station, so I need a little air so with the edits, I can get the school stuff out, so I can use the same show for different radio stations. I've been picked up by another that I'm negotiating a station called Power and Inspirational Radio for the themes of my show. So I need to leave air so that when they edit, to put their stuff in the middle.
If necessary, I could go back on that one.
Well, I mean, actually, you will be on. That's what I'm probably trying to do.
Okay, you're just gonna edit it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I was like,
Because they're streamed as well. They're out of Houston, so it streams on their own network. So I just send everything in. Once we get through negotiating everything that I need to negotiate. Ooh, why are you not playing? What's going on?
LABC's
My
football
bad.
game this weekend.
They were sick of hearing about
Home game was
sports, that's
canceled
why.
abruptly. This time, your LABC Monarchs will be facing the Pierce College Brahma at their campus at 6 p.m. The Brahma are 0-3 heading into this weekend's game. The women's water polo team will be at home this week on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I've been negotiating for a while now. I'm watching since their freshman station. I'm seeing some stuff that I'm like behind. I need to talk to them. I might need to help them actually get some stuff behind the scenes together. Because I started doing radio in the 90s before I even moved to New York. I was a radio DJ before I even moved to New York. And then I got out because I moved to New York. I was in musical theater, I was in voiceovers, singing, all that stuff, so I kind of got away from it. And then when I got hurt a few years ago in the location world, the film and theater, I was like, well, let me just go back to what I know.
Yeah, because you can just sit.
Which is like, let me just go back to this. Yeah. And I never finished school, never got my degree. So I'm about to get my degree in something I've been doing forever, in broadcasting. But it's like, I don't know. I just, back when I was young, I just wanted to get out of the house. You know, and I just turned 57 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I'm like, okay, 60s in 3 years. It's time to get something solid.
Yeah.
Man, you're looking more fit than I've ever been, bro.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I don't know. It goes up and down and over and under. You know. We're having a concert at my house on the 20th. A friend of mine is going to show at my house. And I'm going to sing a duet with her, because I'm going to start doing that at my house again.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Just to get something going. It's her birthday, so like we'll do a concert at my house. We'll just charge the door, because I get 40 people in my living room and have a raised dining room. That's the
Oh, like a
stage.
house concert.
Yeah,
That's so
exactly.
cool.
Yeah, it's on my Facebook page and my Instagram, but I need to start promoting it more. She's gonna have a trio. I'm gonna sing probably one song with her. It was ironic that she mentioned she's gonna do some stuff by this artist named Eva Cassidy.
Oh yeah, no.
I was like,
She's
really?
so good.
My cousin played keyboards.
Really?
Yeah, my cousin. He's no longer with us. He
Do you break the
killed, but yeah, he plays keyboards for Eva Cassidy. He used to play keys on like Britney Spears. Oh baby, baby. That's my cousin playing keyboards. There's music out of, because you're from Jersey. So Go-Go never made it to Jersey, never got beyond Philly. But there's a music that started in DC called Go-Go, and it kind of went from North Carolina to Philly. And my cousin was in one of the original Go-Go bands. So there's a movie years ago by Spike Lee called School Days. It was a very popular Spike Lee movie back. You probably weren't even here yet. But he's in it with a group called EU's song called "Doing the Butt." Doing the butt. Oh, thank you. So he's in the movie
That's
playing
funny.
keys and stuff.
Yeah, I think I've seen that movie before.
School Days. So it was back in like the late
Something with
80s.
Spike Lee, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was one of his real popular ones.
Yeah, that might have been the.
Yeah. And it's all about race relations within the black community.
Okay.
Stuff like that. And then all about sororities and fraternities. They have a song called Good Hair, this big dance, and they like good hair, bad hair, light skin, dark skin, all the stuff. Me and my sister had to grow up with. All that kind of stuff.
You break the
Very, very
rules?
true. Happens still to this day. They didn't call it brown paper bag test. If you were darker than a brown paper bag, you weren't allowed to marry a light skinned person. Yeah.
That's
It's a lie.
terrible.
It's a lie. It's a lie. Cultures, I tell you, cultures.
Might not work. Check it out.
We'll be back probably in like
10 enduring rules for the creative life. Check out www.
See, we get all this on film, because sometimes the conversations are just as good off the air
Right.
as they are on the air.
Campus Talk, right after campus sports at the bottom of every hour, every day, and 7 days a week. You have a topic for consideration. We would like to hear your opinion. Check us out at kbcmbroadcastingclub@gmail.com.
Good jingle.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm G-Tap, and you're listening to another version of Just Keep It Moving Powerfully with my wonderful, wonderful guest, Miss Sarah Lightman.
Hi.
Hey. We were over here just chatting, and I see her name. She's like, hi.
I was clearing my throat, so I was like, not ready. Okay.
We were off air talking about so many great things. For those of you who just tuned in, Sarah is a wonderful, wonderful pop alternative. I guess y'all know your music.
It's like a
kinda
soulful
mix
pop
everything in
kind of
that.
thing.
You get everything in there, honestly. Because like every track has a different musical feel. All of the music though is all music. I feel like has a lot of messages, even though it has a groove. It always has a groove, but I think each lyric has a message that you're always bringing through. But then you incorporate all forms of music. I feel, but your voice is always the same. It's always soulful. It's always got that tone that brings you in. That's it always brings me in. But I digress again because I want to keep giving her accolades. But yeah, so we were also talking about like the video that I saw with Sarah and her dad when she was young, and then we were talking off air how like experiences like that actually help to bring you to where you are. You don't always know at that minute, but it may show up later on, and you go, oh boom, light bulb.
Right.
And then how great it was, like in my eyes when I saw that, it was like such a touching moment. When you were saying, oh, you saw this little girl that was like, I guess not at her best. I don't use your words, but I'm like, whoa, hold up. You were having this wonderful moment with your dad, and then it got me to thinking about, you said he was doing that at an organization that, what were they dealing
It
with?
was it's a once a month. It's not an open mic. You get booked, but it's at an art center in Princeton, and it's just a once a month like showcase of artists of the community in Mercer County, which is a central part of New Jersey.
In your Jersey.
So yeah, no, I guess I just forgot about what I was like as a kid. So I was surprised. I was like, oh, and then I thought, oh, I was taller than I thought I was. I'm the same height now. It isn't.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so incredibly funny. But were those, you feel like that was the beginning of your musical journey and your songwriting journey, maybe?
I think that's when I started to really think about it, because I always liked music and singing, and I grew up in a family obviously being very artistic, but you know, you don't think about like, until you're really exposed to the world enough, you don't really think about like, what do I really want to be when I grow up? Like when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a figure skater. I wanted to be an Olympic figure skater.
Nice.
And I asked my parents, and then they said that the lessons were out of their budget. So then I was like, that's fine. I'll just go to the ice rink and do the general skate, and I'll be fine. So then I realized that when I got to a certain age and I was reading books on it, that you have to train really, really young. And my parents still didn't have the budget, and it's not like you could get a scholarship. You just pay for a coach. I was like, okay, probably not a realistic career, and I can't fly either. So like, I can't just grow wings and fly. That was like the other alternative. So, but I really like doing music, so I thought about it, and I was like, I really do like doing music. Maybe I could be that when I grow up. So then I explored that, and I just realized, I guess like it took a long time, like even into my adulthood, to realize that I really wanted to do the whole write your songs, put them out, and be an artist thing. So
Nice. When did you write your first song?
I was 9.
Nice. What was it about?
I think it was like a heartbreak song. Because it was what I heard on the radio in the 90s. And I hung it on the refrigerator for my mom to see when she got home. And then I took it down, and I was like, no, it needs more work. I don't know, it was like such an old person for a 9-year-old.
No,
I was like, no, this song needs more work.
That was the Star is Born. You knew what you were talking about and what you needed to do.
I think I had like drawings on it and hearts and stuff too.
Oh, okay. Do you still have that piece of paper?
No. I wish I did. I'd give it to you.
You know, it's so funny. You remind me of an old buddy of mine in New York that used to be, he grew up with Mariah Carey.
Oh, okay.
And back in the day, he was always saying when they were in school, she would always practice her autograph when they were kids.
Really?
Because she just knew she was going to be famous. She gave him that book.
Oh.
Did he
Of
keep
all
it?
the autographs.
Did he keep it?
Yeah. No?
No.
What?
He ended up, because this was before she was Mariah, so he figured like
okay.
whatever, so he ended up like tossing the book. Can you imagine what that book would be worth now?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, he said she used to just sit there and practice how she was going to do her autograph, so she did.
Interesting.
Yeah, they grew up in Long Island together. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
She doesn't have a Long Island accent at all.
Not now.
She's worked on it.
I know, probably. Yeah, everybody's accent comes out. Like, I have a roommate that's from where I'm from, and already when I go home, I start talking country now. Because, like, D.C. has a very southern, kind of southern drawl.
It
Like,
does.
especially for people who were, like, originally from there and that kind of thing. So he's from right outside
Yeah,
D.C.
it's right near
right
Baltimore,
outside-
so.
Right? And I already and I caught myself, I was like, ooh, I'm starting to sound real country. You know, and the same thing when I get around people like they're from Jersey and New York, then that kicks in. I'm like, oh, okay, you know,
Right.
it all like
Yeah.
it all mixes up. And give me some red wine, and I don't know what I'm
City
sounding
flavor.
like. And today I noticed I started to sound like the California, like, yeah, you know, everything is so hyped and up. I caught myself today like, what? What did I just say? It's like, oh, sure, you know, one of those kind of things. So you just pick it all up.
Yeah, no worries, sure thing. That's what we say a lot.
So yeah.
Everything's sunshine and daisy.
Right, exactly. So now, when did you record your first song?
Oh,
I mean,
like
not
one that I wrote?
Yeah. When did you start getting into that?
Okay, so I was 15, and a lot of people don't know the story. And
I don't know now.
hopefully my MySpace, because MySpace was a thing then, isn't up there anymore, but we could go looking. I think I shut it down though because I didn't even remember the password for it. So I was like, consistency is not good. So I think I shut it down. Or maybe MySpace doesn't exist anymore, does it? I don't even know. But anyway, so John Mayer put out something in the newspaper when everybody read the newspaper, and in like regular form. And saying that he wanted song ideas and that the best song idea would get featured in a video and all this other stuff. So I was 15, and I had this friend named Kevin at the time who saw it, and he was like, "Do you want to write it?" And I was like, "Okay, I've never written." It was like his lyrics, but I wrote a song to it.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So we used
Yeah.
his lyrics, made a melody, and we recorded it, and it was actually a really good. It actually wasn't too bad for a 15-year-old writing a song. I might actually like sort of remember it a little bit.
Go ahead,
Like,
hit it. You're on.
It was like.
Tyler's ready. He just strummed.
You don't even know.
He just
You don't
strummed.
even. I don't think you know what it sounds like.
He doesn't. He's like, I'm ready. I don't care.
It was like, I've got scars upon this, I've got bruises on. I don't remember the words. It's like a lot, da 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 da. How much it will be? I sing so much higher than. How much of this I take? The years underwater, and I ain't even got the shakes. I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper. That's what it was. It's not bad for like a 15-year-old.
No, you just
Most people
reminded me
just
of
do
it.
like one note.
That was very Alanis Morissette. Do you
Yeah,
ever
a
get
little bit. Sometimes.
That was
I
very,
think it's because of the emotion that comes out of me when I sing. People do tell me that.
yeah, you
She's
just-
great though.
Yeah.
But we were trying to write a melody that John Mayer would sing. So that was the melody we came
Well, that's
up
a
with.
good person to emulate for sure. I love me some John Mayer.
Yeah, he's an influence of mine for sure.
I love Daughters. That's one of my favorite
Yeah,
songs.
so that was like the first one I recorded.
Yeah.
Co-written with John Mayer. You can't say that every day. I mean, it didn't win, but it was just fun. And then after that, I started writing with my friend Jim. His name's Jim Gavin. He still does a little bit of music. He also is a humanitarian, works with youth and even adults who have disabilities and birth defects, even like Down syndrome, Asperger's, like all sorts of different disabilities. He works with them. I actually sang with them one time like a bunch of years ago, but it was really great seeing what he does now. But so we wrote some songs when I was like 18, 19, and I wrote lyrics almost every day because as a teenager you're just angry and your insides are growing and everything's so intense. So I would write so many lyrics. If I went back, I would probably just laugh at them because they were so great and so dramatic. But I didn't have melodies. They were in my head because I was too I don't know. I didn't have like that the amount of confidence that I might have now as a person in self-love. I didn't have them. So I didn't like come up with a melody because the ones in my head I didn't think were good enough. I would just like lock it away and just write lyrics and more lyrics. So when I was 19, then I started co-writing a little bit with my friend Jim on those songs. So then we like kind of put them out, but we didn't really put them out on iTunes. We just like played them at a show and was like, "What do you think?" That was like all we did. And then after that, like I didn't know what to do. So with the career, and then I went into acting, went to college. Then I fell back into music after college because when I came out to LA, the opportunities that were being attracted to me and the people were in the music industry. and then they were reminding me of the thing that I like always loved but put down for a while.
Got it.
So
Yeah, you went through that phase a lot of people go through and still go through. We all go
Yeah.
through where you just don't think that you're good enough, and sometimes you're
Right.
your own worst enemy.
or you don't know how to get there.
Yeah,
That
but you
was-
were still
yeah.
preparing yourself because you were still writing.
In a way,
I think
yeah.
you were very smart because you at least had the good sense. Maybe you didn't realize at the time, but you were at least writing all this stuff
Yeah.
down. You'd be amazed if you go back to that stuff now with a different eye.
Right.
How you could probably, that could be anything. That could be
Yeah.
anything, not just like a song. It could be a musical. It could be
Yeah.
something for a TV
Poetry.
show. You know,
Yeah.
boom, spoken word.
So-
I got another song for you.
Okay.
I got a, and guess what? This is going to be another song by who? My girl, Miss Sarah Lightman. So sit back, y'all. This is G-Tap, and you're listening to Just to Keep It Moving Powerfully.
Love this song.
Yeah.
Because we're all right. Because
Yeah.
you're doubting yourself.
Yeah.
You know, this reminds me of Let It Go. James Bay.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
This
Oh, yeah,
the guitar lick.
You know what's so funny? Someone mentioned that to me after we released it, and I was like, "You're right, but hopefully it doesn't sound derivative."
I'm just that type, though. I pick up.
Pick it up on
My
the-
sister and I played the game growing up. Like, you hear one lick of a song, you have to name it. 'Cause
So
like I said,
maybe-
that's how I thought.
Yeah.
I've always thought about that growing up.
More like as an influence. Yeah, all
'Cause
these
even
songs.
this song, there's another one that somebody did something that had the same opening guitar of James Bay. And I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was, but
Yeah, people ask about my song process. They're like, "Do you listen to music?" I was like, "If I want to, but that's not gonna help me write something new. Because then you're just gonna be singing what you just heard." So
I want to say that.
We can talk about it.
This is it. Let It Go. That's the song. I was like, yeah, it reminds me of that. I would love to hear your process.
sure.
I want to get to all that to even brought you to LA and then get us up to here.
Yeah, sure.
And then your charity work. We got some time. I have to do little stuff in between, but I cheat sometimes. As long as I hit it at the half hours. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to do stuff in between.
It's a special day.
Like all of the there's stuff. I did this stuff at the half hour, but then there's like public service announcements and stuff like that. And I did that last week by announcing Jake's show, and I had him call in. And then another friend that didn't make it to their benefit, she does these things for kids, where she teaches them how to prepare to be real estate owners and everything from the time they're young. And it's all. And I talked about her event that was happening last week.
It's hard to make every event though. It's just
'Cause I ended up doing this location. I ended up working on this TV show, and I was working all weekend. So I was so upset because I really, really wanted
You
to
wanted
do
to
this
go,
support these
yeah.
kids. I really wanted to do that.
yeah. We can talk about players on the album. Whatever you want to do.
Is this okay for you so far?
Yeah, it's fine.
You okay? Okay.
I've heard stuff I've never heard before.
Yeah, he's heard stories he's never heard before.
Oh, nice.
He's learning all
Thank
these.
you for pulling it out of her.
No worries. That's what we're here for, just to have
It
a
takes a lifetime to
conversation.
learn about a person because they live a lifetime.
So you just wrote a
That's the
song.
song right there.
And it's on. It's
And
right there.
Don't steal. I'm
Right
kidding.
there.
You can write it. Like, don't steal it. Use the camera.
It's where we did that last week. We were doing that last week with Sterling. Remember we were coming up with all these little things with Sterling
Oh, yeah.
last week. We say it was like,
I write things down for song ideas, and then I come back to it later when I want to write.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Stand face to face with the city. You're around the town, so looking home so pretty, and the pop just waiting till the night. Reminds me
who
of
started all this new phrasing that you singers do? I just like such an old man. But the way you all turn vowels now. My friend, I have another friend that does that. Sometimes I can't get what she's saying. It's the way you turn vowels when you sing now.
Oh, between phrases
Yeah.
where it like kind of falls off.
And you also twist the vowel to
Yeah.
braid. It's a weird way that
Yeah.
I was trying to say, we were up. I'm sorry. We're up. We're up. My bad. I was trying to listen for it to tell you what I was talking about. That's right, folks. We're all right. We're all right. We are all right. I'm G Tap, and you're listening to Just Keep It Moving Powerfully with my wonderful guest, Miss Sarah Lightman. And we were just talking about how when she was doing everything when she was younger, how maybe the confidence wasn't there. And that just sparked me to play, we alright. Your song, you wrote the song, we alright. See, we're alright. You know, but
Yeah.
sometimes we gotta hit the bottom.
Yeah. it's
You
true.
have to hit the bottom. If you don't hit the
Before you
bottom, how are you
go
gonna
top.
come on top?
Yeah, I was.
You know?
There's like this podcast I've been listening to, by an artist called his name's Andy Grammer, and his drummer played on that song.
Have a song?
He's so good, right?
I knew Andy back in the day.
You knew
when
Andy?
used to-
When he was performing on the promenade?
When he was on Santa Monica on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
pier.
yeah.
And
Everyone-
now my
everyone
friend,
is
my
good.
buddy sings background for him.
Oh, which one?
I'm looking right at him.
I'm not him.
I know, but it's like, this is how I tell them all the time. Like last week, y'all, it's like, y'all, I'm
Okay.
tired of remembering, forget it. Lauren. Oh my God, how can I not forget Lauren?
I know
Tall black
he's
guy.
okay.
Yeah.
He
Lauren.
wasn't. Well,
He's on
yeah,
tour.
is he there?
He's on tour.
Okay.
He's switched between Andy and Michael Bublé.
Okay, yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. No, I mean he's an amazing singer. But
I had the same
anyway,
experience with Andy that I had with you.
with me,
Because we
That
were walking
spiritual
into
thing?
we were walking into
I
a
had that.
store.
I've met him actually, and I
Isn't it
had that
crazy?
too. And I didn't know anything about him. I didn't
Yeah.
know he was a street performer. I just met him. I met his wife, and I was like, why do I feel like this pull?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's creeping me out. I'm not even starstruck. So I was like, okay, play it cool. But anyway, it was just like I'm just gonna play it cool and not be that person. But I'm an awkward person, so I don't know how to.
Right.
You're like, as soon as you say that, you're like, it's not gonna be cool, but I'm gonna try. So anyway, he has a podcast called The Good Parts Podcast, which was named after his previous album, other than the one that he just came out with. And what were we talking about again? It was just like complete 80.
I know I completely turned you off. I completely went. Andy. You were saying
Just
Freddie
got
goes
so
with the podcast, something Andy Grammer.
Um,
we were talking about something. We'll just keep.
Oh yeah. So it was about, you said hitting rock bottom. So he talks a lot, or he's been talking a lot about, not just in his podcast, but in general with his writing and as an artist, how it's kind of like the pain is money to your career, and you have to experience that pain to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And then he released a song with his new album. It's called "Wish You Pain." And then it's like one of my favorite tracks because
Okay.
it's so true. Because a lot of people, they just see the end result and they just see like, wow, this is big and amazing, but like not the stuff behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And like how it takes a lot to get there, and it's not just overnight. Even though they say overnight success, it's like totally not true. There's like, it takes steps to become that overnight success. So like, and then you get coined that term. But so yeah, so it just makes me think of that. And then All Right was, I guess, in a way you said rock bottom, like was a rock bottom for me at the time. And then another rock bottom was like my dad passing, and like at like such a young age and not knowing, like, and it like really rattled my family, and just like because it changed the whole dynamic of like how it functioned and everything. And again, like as a songwriter, like that pain of self-consciousness, because when you're self-conscious, like this is I don't give my tricks away all the time, but like as a songwriter, you need to be vulnerable and open.
True.
And it's painful at first because it's uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable and open that you are and allow yourself to be, the more likely like gold is going to flow out of you, because you're waking up that child that society told you to put to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I'm gonna tell you something about not wanting to give away your tricks. The more you give them away, the more you will receive.
that's true.
So don't be so tight.
I'll give some magic
sometimes.
tricks away.
Because you just gave that trick
No,
away.
it's true.
And that's the same thing with acting. It's the same thing
That's
with
true,
actors.
too.
It's the same with anything in the arts.
Yeah.
Right, since we're artists, let's
It's
keep like
reacting off
anything,
of you.
like
Yeah.
visual arts, like anything. You have to just believe.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting
You
it.
just
Just
have
believe.
to.
I mean, like, don't obviously go get a scissor or anything.
No,
but-
no, no.
It's
We're both going on the record saying
It's almost
do
Halloween.
not let blood come out of the body, but just in the brain. Just think about
The idea.
Yeah, the idea of,
Yeah,
of
I'm just letting it flow.
just letting it flow and,
Yeah.
and bleeding, kind of. Yeah.
That got dark.
Yeah, but no, but I mean that's one thing. I think that's also one of the things that people have to trust in themselves and know that it's okay. Going back to, I think it's really important you said, don't give all my tricks away. And I'm not picking on you, but I love the way that that's brought up, because you will find in life, and I found this the older I've gotten, but I've always been a giving type person anyway. But the more you give, and you give from the heart, and you don't put an end result intention on it, you'd be amazed how much stuff comes back.
That's true.
It's just like
It's hard
crazy.
I don't even know how to give tricks away. I think that's what I was really trying to, like, you know, communicate. Is like I don't know, because sometimes it's just embodied, and that if anything, they would get all the tricks from listening to my music all the time.
Exactly.
That's what you do. You emulate, sing. You like what I started to learn that when I was a kid and doing like theater. I guess I had some like teachers that were, I guess they would kind of frown upon it, which is okay. Everyone has a different style of teaching. But I remember as a singer-songwriter, like when I would study with other people, like coming here and studying with other people, they would say, honestly, just listen to them and see how they do it and try to emulate it, just so you know how they do it and where they were coming from, because it like gives you a vocabulary and a toolbox to create your own tools from that. Like I feel like, but you don't want to imitate it.
Yeah.
But just to learn like their perspective as a style and as an artist.
Because I ask people like yourself and my other friends that are writers and stuff like that. I'm sure, because there's always, I'm sure, a technical process. Because it's still a formula.
There's some technical.
You know, there's got to be. How does that how do you fit into that formula? Other than giving it yourself, but is it like, okay,
how I write songs?
The verse has got to be, I don't know, 3 sentences. Like, how does all that stuff work?
I don't count that kind of thing.
Okay.
Honestly, a lot of writing, from what I've learned, comes from like it's best to start with a melody.
Okay.
And then you fit the lyrics in. You obviously have an idea of kind of what you might want to write about, and sometimes you even don't. Sometimes you're like, this sounds like this. After you come up with it, let's try it. And a lot of your songs are going to be not great. Like even when you write hit songs, you're still gonna not have great songs. It's just you're human, and you need to flush out the system sometimes. So
that could be a good song, flushing out.
maybe for like an ad for toilets, I don't know, or like something like a jingle.
Jingles pay.
Jingle pay, yeah, So it's really funny. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't really count that kind of thing. I think when you just, again, listen to enough artists and look to your influences, and there are academic parts to it, you are right, but a lot of it honestly comes from the groove and from feel. So when you're feeling that vibe, you're going to naturally kind of feel like, oh, this feels like this verse is going to end here.
So
that sounds very gray, but it's true.
So what about if you like, and this is always something that interests me now, because back in the day when music always had to have a specific type of rhyme, like this word had a rhyme, that word. And so nowadays, which I really dig, it's not just nowadays, but like in the last, I don't know, couple decades, whatever. Not especially when you get into alternative music like India R&B or music like yours or people like that. Everything doesn't necessarily rhyme, but you put the rhythmic feel on the intonation of the word.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at, yes, right, folks, I use that word intonation. I did go to high school.
He knows stuff.
So when you're looking at the lyric that you wrote, is that when you try to figure out where that's going to fall? Or do you do the melody? Okay.
So I do the melody.
Okay.
Then I start to fit in the lyrics, going, what does the song sound like? Or what was I trying to write about, and it just happens to fit that. So however I got there, I start to fit in lyrics, and the hardest part is to try not to think too hard, or should I say think with the left brain. It's all about thinking with your right brain, which is the creative part of it. Which again is shut down by society because, there's no shade at all. But, we go to school and a lot of what we do is more academic than creative. So then we become more left brain than right brain, and I think sometimes we don't always allow the right brain to maybe develop or be as open. So it's kind of like waking up the engine a little bit even when you go into it. So you'll try like a couple lines, like what does this sound like? I think it sounds like this, and then they're like, okay, can that be a phrase? When I rhyme, I don't always rhyme every line like you were saying, but if I feel like that phrase is going to end and I'm like, hey, this line above or 2 lines above I'm seeing probably feels like it needs to be rhymed. I'll try to rhyme it with the word that's appropriate, but if it's not appropriate, I'll literally change the word above, so the one below, like, because maybe that one. And sometimes when I go, and the other thing is, like, I don't care what people say about, oh, I wrote this in one night. Yeah, you could write it in one night, but you're going to go back and edit it.
Right.
If you write a film score, you're not going to, like, just be like, John Williams is like, here you go. And then they're like, this is not complete. Like, so you need to fine tune it. You have to go with the fine tooth comb. Sometimes I don't, like, I'll leave the rhyme, or sometimes even if the rhyme fit, I'll go back into the song and be like, you know, I'm going to change this rhyme because these words don't flow behind it. And I change the words that flow behind it and go, okay, do I still need to change that word? Or is there a better word to go with these words behind it? So it's just like, because you want people to digest it as easy as possible without dumbing it down too much. So you want to...
That was a great lesson.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Songwriting 101.
Nice. Okay.
With me.
I'm remedial. Here we go. So we'll be back, folks. We got to take care of some legal stuff, but please stay with us. We're having a fantastic conversation with my new friend and my wonderful person that I love to hear sing, Miss Sarah Lightman, and Tyler Davis, and Bahan.
Movsesian.
Come on, dude. You got to like.
Movsesian.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
And we'll be right back. You're listening to G-Tap here. Just keep it moving powerfully.
This is 95.1.
I want to give it that much air. Where's a half hour for the top of the hour?
If you do refer to me again, Ty the Sound Guy is actually preferable.
Ty the sound guy?
Yeah.
Guess
He
what
likes
you're gonna
it.
do?
It's a nickname.
You're going to get on the mic and say that yourself.
No problem.
You might as well get set up on 3 anyway, because you're going to sing this next hour.
Yeah.
So you want to get set up on mic 2? That way you're near the guitar. Is that cool?
Yeah.
You can have these big floppy hands if you want. They're
That's all
heavy.
good, bro.
I hope what I said made sense.
That was very cool.
Good.
Because I mean, I like to know that kind of stuff. I have a lot of friends like you who write, but I never get to know. I know that there's
The
always
juicy deep
mechanics
stuff,
to
yeah.
it. You know, and because you know what it reminds me of is since I work in film and TV, with the writers book. The writers may write this episode, but depending on even if, okay, say my job as a location manager, if we have to get a certain location and put it around that, they have to change.
You
They
told me
sometimes
about that,
change
yeah.
the writing to fit the location.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
That's a
it's
good way of
kind of
thinking
similar.
of it. Yeah. Because you're like, this is the theme, but actually, is it really this or the other theme?
And it depends on it. Sometimes it's not just me. Sometimes the unit production manager, one of the production supervisors or something go, okay, this is nice, you want to do that, but guess what? This is the money. So guess what you're going to rewrite? You know, so there's always, I think there's themes and formulas that
But it
they
all
have
ends
to
up
go
being what it
through.
needs to be at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
And then it was explained to me by some writers are like, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit of your artistic integrity out of it because then you do have to conform to say, oh, is it not working? Oh. Sometimes you do have to conform to a budget versus like, this is my artistic dream. I guess that's the same thing. I'm going to talk about this on the air. Like, you know, certain artists, say like, I know Pink was one of them. She started off in like R&B girl groups or funk pop girl groups, but then she was like, I want to do my own thing.
Right.
And that's when she said, I did what I had to do, which a lot of them do, but then she went out and became Pink. And she, did it fall? It's done that before.
Is that a shoe string?
Oh, we're about to go. We're about to go back up. We'll talk about all that.
I'll just chill like
We'll
this.
talk about that. That's happened to me. That's happened to me right here.
Oh no, that's so
That's up and like, oh hi.
You're lucky he's
It's
a
been
studio
kind of
engineer.
crazy. Welcome back, folks. I'm G-Tap. You're listening to Just Keep It Moving Powerfully. We just had, you know, gotta love live everything. We just had a little incident here. We're setting up Ty the Sound Guy. Is that what I was supposed to say?
Yeah, you got it.
And so Ty had something that happened to me a while ago right here at the station. The mic that we're setting him up on to play guitar just said, okay, I want to fall right now. So that actually happened to me. So you can imagine me sitting right here and I'm like holding the mic trying to figure out how to put this on as I'm trying to do a show.
But I'll make noise.
Yeah, exactly. So All right, let me turn your mic on. Let's see what we got.
This is
Are you
fun.
there, Ty? We got you. You're in there. You gonna do something live for me?
Sure.
I'm gonna give you something live, guys. Go ahead, I'll call. Let me try to do an intro. Everybody, you're listening to Just Keep It Moving Powerfully with my wonderful guest, Sarah Lightman, who's going to give us something live here.
Do you want something slow or upbeat?
I want
Or?
whatever your heart is feeling right now. I want what's on your heart right now. And
Okay.
we'll just take it there. And it doesn't matter. You let me know when I'm just filling the air, so you want to be there. So you
Yes.
just let me know when we're ready.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
It's your show, baby. You do what you got.
That's too many choices.
Should I pick something off the new album?
Yeah,
That
do
we haven't
it.
played,
You do
so-
it. You're the DJ.
I kind of want to hear stuff we've been talking about. I don't know. I kind of want to hear "Letter to My Father."
Okay. He thought you were gonna choose that one.
See, Ty, up here, up high, from a distance.
Psychic.
There we go.
It's called Letter to My Father, and it's about the death of my dad, but written to him in a way. I'm writing to you to tell you thank you for all of the love you made, the strength you gave, even though we're out of time. The bird never dies, flies away on with me, so I'm flying safely. Following the words you gave me, doing only what I love, finding people who respect me and protect me. So in case you don't know, I'm doing fine. Of course I feel better, you're alive. I know you're sorry, can't make that change. I'll still be seeing you every day. First, the loss was so tough to be strong enough. The pain was so hard on me and hard on the family. Though those years were hard to resolve, now we're evolved. We have found harmony in your memory. Listening to what you told me, following my voice within, try my best to do the right thing, do the right thing. So in case you don't know, I'm doing fine. Of course I feel better if you're alive. I know you're sorry, can't make that change. I'll still be singing you every day. So in case you don't know, I'm doing fine. Of course I feel better, you're alive. I know you're sorry, can't make that change. I'll still be singing you every day.
Wow.
It's hard to sing into such a quiet microphone. I didn't want to blow it. Is that okay?
I was
Okay.
over. trying to do my
I
thing,
apologize,
but
listeners, if I blow your
I
ears.
don't ever want to. I don't ever want to have to do a control board again when you're singing because I just want to be
Yeah.
in that moment. That took me back to the time I sat in Republican Pie
Yeah.
and you made me turn around like
Aw.
that was so beautiful and so heartfelt. It just absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, I know I'm supposed to speak because I'm on air, so I got to get out of my head. That I just felt every lyric, and I forgot how beautiful you sound live.
Thank you.
Because you know nowadays, folks, it's oh press that button right there. Oh, I hit the press that button. No,
Lots of tracks and stuff.
just saying.
Yeah.
That was absolutely stunning, and just for I have many friends around your age as well that have lost parents young, and I always try to imagine what you guys feel, because I'm sure it never goes away losing your parents when you're that young, and just hearing you sing that, but I felt that connection. I also looked over, and at one point I saw the same expression on your face that I saw in that video when you were at the piano.
Oh wow.
So I'm
That's
gonna have to
really
look
cool.
back at the tape that he's filming, and I'm gonna find it. There was one point when you had your face, like your eyelids were at a certain level that were exactly when you were standing at the piano singing your
Wow.
father. So you're
That's
still in
really
touch.
cool.
You're still in touch with every single vibration and feel of your father. I'm sure he's looking down on you and just like boom. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So let's talk about the woman that you have become, that I'm sure he is so proud. Oh, and Ty, the sound guy,
Yes, sir.
dude, you sound amazing. I had you right there.
Appreciate
With
that.
but don't worry about the mic, so I'm gonna turn you off right now.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so you left Jersey, you came to LA.
Yeah.
What was the decision that made you do that?
It was really difficult because when you're really young, like early 20s, teens, you have a lot of doubts because there's a lot of gray. Your mind is still developing. You're outgrowing doing just what your family does because you're around them all the time. So it's really hard for me to make a decision just from what was best for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in college, I mentioned doing acting. Everyone I knew, because I did a lot of film work, came out here.
Okay.
So one big part of it was the connections. And I made like a pro and con list, like what's the best thing for me. And I also had a college boyfriend at the time who also said he was moving to LA, and I was gonna maybe go to New York instead originally for theater. But then like when he said that, it made me like consider, okay, well, how do I see this person in my life? And it didn't work out, but it's like I kind of, even though it was a painful experience dating this person, it was really good because I wouldn't have thought to make this pro and con list had he not brought up the idea of him even moving.
Okay.
So for myself, I felt like, okay, like connections is here, a fresh outlook, maybe it'll help me find myself. I also really love food, and I can't have gluten, unfortunately. So,
Oh, okay.
like on the East Coast, a
Celiac
couple years
disease?
ago, yeah, celiac, yeah. So like a couple years ago, gluten-free wasn't as easy on the East Coast as it was less.
Right.
So I was like, I just want to eat.
I just want to have some
I just
food.
want to eat, so that just went on there. I just want and I know Kelly has good food because you got good farmers. So it was like that went on the list, and then I had a whole list of pros and only a very short list of pros for New York. And the cons were about even, but there weren't as many pros for New York. So, and so it was like a lot. I think partly it was like the health thing, and then partly connection and finding myself, like the connections being here and finding myself. And so I came out. I didn't even have the money to like check it out before I came out here. I just saved up money, and I remember working so many shifts at Starbucks just to save up the money. Transferred out here with Starbucks.
Nice.
Learned that I didn't want to work at Starbucks anymore after that. I loved being a partner, but it's just not. It wasn't where I wanted to be. So, but anywho, so I worked so many shifts, saved up that money, and then like researched like, okay, I think I want to live in this area. It's near Starbucks. I can walk to it. I don't have a car.
Right.
So that's what I did, and I came out, and it was really, really scary because even though I had those connections, they weren't best friends. So it's like I knew them, but it's like I didn't have a support system at the time. I had some family, but I didn't even know them that well.
Yeah.
They're all really great people, but now everything's really great. But it was just it was the most naked experience, and like people were saying like, oh, you're doing something stupid by moving out, want to pursue like a career that doesn't make any sense because there's no system and there's no like weekly paycheck. It's just all over.
Right.
And then also with that not even having ever been here, it just sounded irresponsible to a lot of people that told me not to move out. So I was already nervous but doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And so it was scary and I was very alone and I felt like alone and I just remember crying like every day, just hoping like things would get better, and they did, but it took a long time, and I'm really glad I did it because it made me grow as a songwriter, as a person. And like there's so many people you hear from who like they become older and it's never too late, but like they become older going like, oh, I wish I did that when I was your age.
Exactly.
And that was the other thing on my pro list was my teacher saying if you're gonna do it now.
Yeah, and it's a good thing your teacher told you that.
Right?
Because most
Thank
people
you, Doug
don't.
Wager.
There we go, Doug Wager.
Yeah.
Doug Wager, thank you.
Theater department chair. Now he's
there
the
you go.
dean.
Nice, excellent. Because you're right, you're so very seldom do you get support when you come from
Right.
families that everybody's kind of used to that 9-to-5 world, and they wish it's just not there, and that can feel very empty, but at the same time, it's very motivating.
Right.
At the same time.
Yeah, I was really, I think everyone's really stubborn, but I was like a rebellious, stubborn person. That was my one. I wasn't really a rebellious teenager where I would stay out super late. I was a good kid, pretty much, but that was my one thing. I'm gonna move and do what I want to do. I don't care.
If we hadn't done that, you wouldn't be here, and I would have just
Right.
had the grace with that wonderful song sitting in front of me. So
Yeah.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And now you're here, and
Yeah.
you're doing your thing, and you have all this music out, and you also took some time out of your life, which you don't have to do, and you work with a couple charitable organizations.
Yeah, so occasionally like a charity will approach me and be like, we'd love for you to come play music at an event, or they want me to like be one in particular that I just started working with. They're called Stand for Kind, stand number 4 kind, one word, and they are part of the Anti-Bullying Association, and they found me on Instagram very randomly like a year ago and was like, hey, like I work with this organization, this is Stand for Kind. We do assemblies around the U.S. Promoting kindness and anti-bullying and suicide awareness and mental health awareness. And I was like, that sounds so dope. I want to do that. And it just felt, I could tell, obviously I guess they wanted to like look into an artist who was somewhat mental health awareness based, and a lot of that I do that is because one, my dad did art therapy, so he worked with troubled youth in doing that, so it felt like even more of a connection to my dad by doing it. And 2, I was also very badly bullied, like when I was by both boys and girls, which is kind of unique because usually it's one group, but it was just everybody. Not everybody, that'd be terrible. But I'm really sorry if that happens to everybody. Like for someone for it to be bullied by everybody, that was better communicated. So I was just like, I would love to do that. I found out that they were also connected with the Love Loud Foundation, which is so crazy because Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons started Love Loud, the festival. He is Mormon, and as a Mormon, he loves being Mormon, but he could also see that community of Mormon and Mormonism aren't always embracing, positively embracing the LGBTQ lifestyle. And he sat back and watched it for a while, and then after a while, he was like, you know what, I have this platform, and I'm going to help change that, because this is not okay that we're hurting our people. So he started that, and it's in Utah once a year. It's amazing. They raise money for one of the charities, the Stand for Kind, and they also like help out with the event. But it's this really cool event that happens every year. And so I had just saw the Believer documentary, which was about it. And I just thought it was so creepy that like a couple weeks later I was like, wait a minute, I just watched that documentary, and thank you, universe. Like, it's just one of those things. So it's really cool because I haven't done an assembly yet. because the school year just started. But over the summer, I met about 40 kids who were being trained to be ambassadors for them, and they were just really special. They reminded me that the world doesn't always have to be that bad. There are empathetic people out there. They genuinely cared about each other's well-being and about the world, even though, you know, a lot of them, you know, are youthful and growing and going through a lot of things. They were just truly special human beings, and it inspired me and reminded me of things that even I needed to incorporate as not just as a performer because of the training they went through. That did help with that, but also just like things that I forget to think about in my life, and how can I like be a better part of the community in a way. So I can't wait to go to their schools and meet more of their student body, and because it's a really cool movement, and I feel like, I don't know, making a difference with my music is what I want to do. So this feels like it's going down that path by doing that for sure. One of the many things.
What we were saying off mic too when you first came in, it's like right after you sent me everything, when I'd asked like all the stuff that was going on and how you got involved, and I read all this cool stuff, and then literally up on my phone pops up from the 16-year-old kid a couple of days ago, about a week or so ago, that committed suicide. Because his friends, he had shown his friends a couple screenshots. I guess he was bisexual or something.
Yeah, it was a boy he was talking to.
Yeah, and they just totally outed him, and he committed suicide.
Yeah.
And Sarah and I had she just sent me the email, and I just opened it, read it, and I was like, you've got to be kidding. So I sent her this, like, in this, which is what we're exactly talking about support and the 16-year-old kid. And so Billy Ray Cyrus went to, I forgot which state it's in. It's one of the.
I think it was Tennessee.
Tennessee? I think I pulled it up on my phone.
Not 100%, but I read something about Tennessee.
Yeah, Billy Ray Cyrus went there and spoke at his memorial, rode the kid's bike for his motorcycle for him, and it was, you know, and his parents are having a hard time because the police were saying they don't want to press charges because they're having the it's just like the anti LGBT attitude, LGBTQI attitude, and it's just so sad. And I looked at this kid's picture, and like this young man just wanted to be, and then I guess he wrote the note saying that he trusted. I'm paraphrasing because I tried to read.
Right, he trusted them.
He trusted them,
and
that's what they did. Yeah, and so he shot himself, and it's just. It just brought me to tears at work. Like, this kid was 16.
Right, and he felt like he had no way to escape that because he had to spend a lot more time with those people. So he's like, I don't know how I'm going to live through this for 2 more years.
Especially in that small town.
Right, especially where everyone probably feels that way, and he already felt that over him.
Yeah, and so if anybody out there young is listening to this, and I know you probably heard a lot, but sincerely, don't check out. I don't know how else to say it. It may feel like your life is going to end at that moment because of that situation, but there's an old saying, and this too shall pass. It will pass. It may not feel like it this very second, but it will pass, and you will get through it. It's not worth checking out. We need you here. You're here for a reason, to be with us. You may not see that reason that second, and I'm not making light of anything anyone's feeling, because we've all been through it. But you're meant to be here, and you will be okay. You will be okay. So please just hang in there. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, because if you weren't meant to be here, you wouldn't be. So.
No. And on that one, I think I want to choose another song.
If you use Shell, that one's kind of suicide. But it's like really powerful. It has Levance on it.
Is he?
Yeah, he's on it.
Oh, okay. Well, I gotta switch gears. So I was gonna play another one, but I gotta switch gears. Hold on, I gotta sideways. So keep talking. Give me some.
Okay, so Levance Coley, we didn't expect the track to turn out this way, but he just put something on it so magical that we didn't want to touch it. He was surprised. He was like, "Oh, there's no piano in that. There was gonna be piano," and I was like, "Well, what you did was so great. We didn't want to ruin it."
So I'm gonna let you be the DJ. This is G-Tap. You listen to Just Keep Moving Powerfully, and Sarah's gonna introduce the next song.
It's called Shell.
That's it.
Yeah, it's called Shell, featuring the Vance Coley.
Here we go, everybody. It's called Shell.
Well, we talked enough about it.
Smile on her face, but when she
Completely a cappella.
sees the sun, she
Now,
does.
what were you going to play?
Sandy life is a game. She laughs at nothing to name. She doesn't wanna know the pain. Who is this girl I see inside? I don't know if she breathes to see alive. I hear her tell me she's in
It's gonna
pain.
fall, it's gonna fall. Before it's gonna fall.
She just wants it all to go away and show. And when she locks up her pain, she starts to notice a name. A need for love because you feel
That's all him.
when she tries outside to connect, she's reminded of her neglect. So she runs, cause it's too much to bear.
Sing, girl, sing.
Who is this girl I see?
This song was actually originally written for a movie, and it was a bad
Sounds like
it was a bad deal, so I ran from it. But it was such a good song, I was like, I still want to use it.
You should do a documentary of some type and stick it in there.
I'm pitching it for some sort of for licensing company, so hopefully it'll be picked up.
Because I can just picture a lot of things happening with it.
Yeah. It was written for a character that was going to commit suicide right after the song, so, or during the song.
And she wants to take the pain away.
What song were you going to play? He wants to know.
I was torn between
Because it
home.
hurts. Who is this girl
I was kind of like,
We can do that once after.
Here's what I
I don't know if she breathes is still alive. Tell me she's in pain.
I'm the best singer on the planet. Disgusting. This was the hardest part of the song, me doing this part. I was like, runs, what? So hard.
I cannot run to save my life. I can do it just a little bit.
Right. But to create something this long, it was so hard.
And to shout.
95.1 KBC and Mono Radio Campus News. My name is
Had to do my half an hour
giving you
stuff.
That's
the
cool.
latest news from LA.
It always sounds
This
like he's
Wednesday,
on
the
somebody's
LAPC
drug.
What is he
Transfer
taking when he
Center
does
will
this?
host the
Is this recorded?
Wanting to apply to campus. We don't want to miss it. It'll be this Wednesday from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the College Transfer Center at the Student Service Annex. Next week will be the
That's his style.
Okay.
Radio style.
Alright.
Plaza.
Let you go.
Interested in broadcasting or anime, you should come and sign up to any of the clubs at LABC that interest you. The LABC Counseling Department, Associated Student Union, and the LACCD Student Success Initiative is offering academic success workshop to help students.
Did you want to do anything else live?
Satisfactory.
See ya.
You done? Or no? You want to give me
Next
another-
Thursday,
It's up to you.
12 p.m. to 1:30 Career Transfer Center.
I don't know.
This is 95.1 KBC and Monarch Radio Campus News, heard at the bottom of every
Yeah.
hour, every
Let's
day,
just-
7
what?
days a week. It's not from
Let's just do record.
Okay.
I'm Ozzy from Maplewood, 95.1 KBC.
Oh, sorry. The whole time. That's why it feels weird.
Question is, do you
It was backwards.
to
He was driving him crazy. I was like, why does this fit weird? Yeah, we'll just play the album.
Okay.
Because there are production elements that I think they'd enjoy on the other
Okay.
songs.
Rules establish principle and standards. Rules can influence creativity and enhance your experience.
I'm gonna say
As
that for
humans,
last.
we sometimes make the mistake to think that rules are meant to govern and establish authority. Sister Farida Kent, who was an artist and an advocate for social
that one in there
justice,
coming
came
out
up
of
with 10 rules to
jingle.
help embrace
Then-
creativity.
That's funny. So you knew Andy when he was in the promenade?
Oh, yeah. So what happened was we were going to a shoe store.
You what?
We were going into a shoe store.
Who's we?
Me and some of my buddies
Some of
on the promenade, right? I hear like 2 notes and I literally stop. And I walk over to the promenade and they were like, I kind of was involved with Gavin DeGraw when he got started as well.
Oh, my cousin opened for him.
I knew Gavin back in the
He's one of my
day.
influences.
Like, so Gavin and Andy are 2 of my, like,
Yeah, there's like others.
no, kind of like my you kind of story. Like, I heard them and I knew what they were going to be. I
Yeah.
heard them when they were, wait, hold up, let me set this up because I want to do something when we get out.
Do you break the rules in which
And then we'll come back in. So I walk over and my friend's like, where is he? And I'm like over there just like, this dude is, like, same thing I did with you. And so then, he finished and we were talking and I was like, you got something. I still have the signed CD at home.
Like his little like promenade CD,
Yep.
the burn
Still have
one,
it at home.
sort
The one with
of.
the black and white cover. I still have it at home. So I told Lauren to tell
Is that one online?
I don't know.
yeah.
I told Lauren to tell, and that this had to have been because my roommate moved out in 2010 and he lived with me from 7, so somewhere between 2007 and 2010.
Yeah, because
It's more like
2010.
2009.
Yeah, because 2010 was when he started to get known.
Yeah, so it had to be 2000, like 7, 8, or not somewhere in there. And then I heard him, gotta keep your head up.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Gavin. Like, I knew Gavin when he used to play. Like, he came to Rosie's 2 on 48th and 9th one night.
Yeah.
Like, came with his like
Yeah,
little
New York,
blue,
right?
Exactly. His little blue shirt and chinos. We were always hanging out at this piano bar. And so his friend was like, "Oh yeah, I want y'all to listen to my friend Gavin DeGraw." And he walked up like, "Who is this little preppy kid?" He sat down at that piano and started his changes. His signature song, "Change Is Gonna Come." I was like,
Oh, that song is so good.
"Who the heck?" So I just started following him around Manhattan. And then at the time,
Politely.
yeah, you know, and he would let me know where he's going to be. And then at the time, I was like, dude, you got, because this is when the friend who actually inspired the title of the show for me, who suddenly passed away, was a songwriter, and he was a contractor, session singer, and all that stuff. And I was like, you got to meet my friends, because, you know, so I introduced him to my friend there, Greg Clark, who ended up, how they worked out, that's how he ended up getting on MTV when he did that MTV thing.
Your fault.
And then, like, right, and last time I saw Gavin, he was sitting on 9th Avenue, and I walking down the street, like, sitting on the ground, like, Gavin, what's up? He's like, oh, man, you know, I'm just hanging in. And then I moved to Europe.
They just have different jingles for every
They
minute.
do. I chose that one.
This is kind of creepy.
That one's nice.
I just wanted to do your little
It was-
interlude, and then we're going back up. And I'll keep talking about this after your interlude. I just wanted to do your interlude. I don't know why. I just wanted to do your interlude.
And it was literally interlude.
I don't know. I just felt like doing it. Since we're going to the second part of the show. I have no idea why I would do it. I just wanted to do your interlude. Like, get us into the second part of the show. I'm G-Tap and welcome back. We're listening to Just Keep It Moving Powerfully with the wonderful Sarah Lightman. And I was telling her my Andy Grammer story and then my Gavin DeGraw story and how it all leads up to my Sarah Lightman story. Because, summarize, folks, back in the day, and I've been trying to get this message to Gavin for years. Back in the day, knew
Gavin, listen.
Gavin DeGraw when he,
I'll tell him when I open for him.
Boom.
There you go.
And he used to play at Rosie's 2 on 48th and 9th. And he walked in and was like, who is this kid? And he sat down and he sang his signature, Change Is Gonna Come. And then from that point on, I became a groupie and went to all of his stuff in Manhattan. Then I introduced him to, I hooked him up with my late friend who the show is named after. His name is Gregory Clark. If you ever see the documentary 20 Feet from Stardom.
Yeah, I have. I've seen
Okay,
it.
if you get the DVD version, and the B side of the DVD version is Greg. It's a tribute to him because he passed away after he was
I just have
influential
that
getting a
on
lot of people in there. I know, right? And most of those are
That's so
people
cool.
that, like Lisa Fisher and all of us used to hang out with Greg, and a lot of the people in 20 Feet from Stardom are my friends
Circle,
here
yeah.
that, like, you remind me of.
Right.
So long story short, Gavin, I know he met up with Greg, and then I left to move to Europe. I moved to Europe right after 9/11. The year after 9/11, my head was like.
Yeah, I understand.
So I was like,
yeah.
I bounced on my 40th birthday the next year in September. I was like, I'm out.
Way to bring it in.
And but then I came back and ended up down in Jersey, Asbury Park. So I'm driving, and all of a sudden I hear this song come on. I don't want to be anything other than. I'm like, and they go Gavin DeGraw looked at my radio like, Gavin, you made it. You know, and I was like, you made it. Talking to my radio like he didn't hear me.
I'm sure he could hear you in spirit.
Right, and then the same thing happened when I was saying with Andy Grammer when he was on the Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah.
My friends we were going to a shoe store to visit a friend, and I just stopped because I just heard him like, who is this dude? And I walk over and I'm just like listening to him jam. I'm like, dude, you know, you got it. He gave me his little black CD that I have at home, his little live CD. Then I hear, you know, gotta keep your head up, hey. And I'm like, okay, there he is. And then now my buddy Lauren sings background for him as well. So I'm like, wow, and that's what you reminded me of when I met you at Republic of Pie, because you just like snapped in my head when you were singing. It's got that same.
I'm like Gavin and Andy.
Look, that's
I'm
not
okay
bad company, right?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I do want to open for them, so someday.
Yeah, do that so I can finally come and say,
yeah,
what's
then
up,
I can invite you, and then you can be like, hey, I know all you guys.
And I tried to send Gavin, you know, he's Gavin DeGraw. I tried to send him a message since
he's
then, like,
goofy.
dude, I'm so glad, you know, because last time I talked to him was maybe 2002.
Oh, wow.
Like 2002, somewhere between 2002 and 2004.
That's right before, yeah.
Something like that.
I feel like you're like, you're like that seed. When they meet you, they blow up right after. It's like you're the catalyst.
And I'm fine with that.
Because that seems to be a repeating pattern.
Yeah, and it, like I said, you know.
I guess that
like,
means I'm next. Right?
Going all the way back to what I said in the beginning, don't be afraid to give up your tricks, because you never know what comes back. If that's supposed to be my trick, that I recognize talent like you, then you know what, I'm happy to have been given that trick. Yeah. Because, you know what, people always hear when they're not doing something right.
Right.
24/7. But how often do people just stop and say, hey, that was great? Or like mean it. Not like, yeah, it's great, you want to, you know, get some money for that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just like really mean it. And I really appreciate artistry. And it doesn't have to be a certain form of music. It can be anything as long as you're getting something from it. And especially music that I feel like people can listen to and it moves them forward in whatever way it needs to. You know, that's what I feel is key. Yeah. And that's what I like to sing. Like, it took me years to figure out, I just don't like singing love songs and stuff like that, because to be honest with you, I've never had a lot of luck in that. So if it's not from my heart, I can't sing it. Right. And then if I'm going to sing about not being in love, nobody wants to be depressed all the time. No. So you know, but I love to sing about songs. I love to sing songs in my shows. Either they're just fun, because I love to dance. Yeah. That are fun, or that give a message, just like the songs we're selecting here as we're talking from your album. That's the stuff that I really, really love delivering when I sing. And it took me years to be okay with that. Right. It also took me years to be okay with, I used to be surrounded by, like, being on stage with some of the most fantastic singers, and I was like, I want my voice to sound like that. It took me forever just to go, what you got is fine. Right. Believe that. Yeah. It just took forever to say it's okay, you know. And big props for Billy Porter, who's now just won the Emmy for Pose. Oh yeah. He's an Emmy, a Grammy, and a Tony now. Dang. I remember being on stage with Billy back in the day, with Shoshana, back with the Broadway Gospel Choir, and I still can remember the first time I ever heard him sing, and I was on stage and like, oh my gosh, he was already Billy Porter, he was already Mr. Broadway. Yeah. But you know how you just kind of know things, and Billy was always regular, and I remember when he used to stand next to me in the choir, we had to do the choir stuff, I'm like, I'm standing next to Billy Porter. You know, it was that kind of thing. Because I moved to New York, I was a nothing, I was a nobody. Mm-hmm. That's a bad thing, but it's true. I mean, I came from DC, I never grew up around any theater. It was this kind of thing. I had a singing teacher who told me to think about it, and I needed to get away from home. It was one of those things like you knew you just had to go, and I knew I just had to go. Yeah. So just something I fell into. I was such a fish out of water. Wow. And no confidence at all. But my friend Greg, who named the show after, he was always one of my biggest supporters, no matter what. Just a big old geek, just an awkward dude, just not knowing how to fit in. Still, to this day, still don't always know, but I'm older now, so I don't really care. And that's the truth, you know. It's like, here I am, this is what I got, take it or don't. Yeah. And so it just took me years, and then I had a wonderful, when I moved out here, I have a fantastic singing technician named Eddie Syek, and he not only got to my voice, but he got to my head. And when he got to my head, that's when the voice opened.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of people in 20 Feet from Stardom are students as well.
Everybody needs one of those.
Yeah, and I used to just have singing teachers that I couldn't get, you know, it would just be like the
Right,
technical thing,
technique,
like you were
yeah.
saying, oh, you got to do this, you got to.
Right, but you
not-
can't just do that.
Right.
You can't do that because that's not learning. That's what they would
Exactly.
say. And you're like, but it is learning. It's just not the way you teach it.
Yeah, exactly. So when I got with Eddie and he used to pick stuff out, I'm like, how does he know this? And then I finally felt
Yeah.
comfortable to go, yeah. And we would take all of that and put it into the vocal lessons and then into delivering a song. Totally changed everything for me. Completely. So that's kind of like what you're doing. You're giving these jewels, and we got it on tape, and we got it, you know, here, and
You can have
just.
them.
Thank you,
You're
thank you.
welcome.
But I think everybody's getting them.
Yeah,
That's the
everyone can
wonderful
have
thing, you know. And so what's going on right now with the album? I know you had a little bit of trickery because I'm one of your supporters
that was
who.
hard.
who,
Yeah, with the Pledge Music thing that I mentioned.
Yeah.
So Pledge Music never paid the money that I raised. So everyone gave their money to get to me, but the third party never gave it to me. Lots of legal stuff. Hopefully that'll amend on its own later. I'm sure it will, because
Yeah.
chickens always come home to roost.
Exactly.
And so I realized I had to pay it all out of pocket until I got sorted out. And a couple people were so sweet and were able to get their money back through the bank, but I digress. So we got there, the album's out. So now I'm just sort of pushing it out to a lot of different platforms where I'm trying to, right now I'm sort of self-managed, and I'm really hoping to find the right fit of management lately. And like a management company preferably, or someone who is versed enough to know what to do with me. You know, I don't know what to do with you. You just sit right there. And to sort of help the ship that is now built and very sturdy and has a good foundation to sail. And then until I find that and connect with those people, build those relationships, I'm also working on, there's something called the Indie Bible that indie artists use, and it has a lot of like contacts for like radio and blogs and public radio and all sorts of stuff that'll promote and support your music. So I got it. A couple of friends of mine, we all split it.
Okay.
We all shared and talk about it. And so I've been nonstop submitting to like radio and blogs and podcasts and like doing that, and then I want to start breaking into festivals because I do have a band and you can hear them on the album, but I really want to give them work to work with me, but also to get more exposure of myself out there and my exposure out there with the band, because eventually, yeah, I love playing solo and it's been really great, but the brand needs to grow. So that's kind of been another mission of mine, is that, and then and I've been dabbling a little bit into like licensing, placement, and
Awesome.
making those. So I just want to and just the other thing is just mainly brand wise reaching my audience, and by reaching my audience, which hopefully is you, if you're listening, thank you for being my audience if you are, and because the moment you reach your audience, and not just professionals and fans, that's really all you need is to connect with those people, because they're the people who are going to benefit the most from your music.
Is it hard to find venues around right now? How's all that working
I
out?
don't think it's difficult to find venues. I think it's difficult to find the venues that you want to play at where you are in your career sometimes. One of them that I submitted to was School Night, and they're with KCRW, and Chris Doritas, who's one of the DJs, he runs it. It's like his like child, and it's really cool because it's kind of like in this like underground place where you're in Hollywood and you go up the stairs, you go around, you go in the hallway, you go down the stairs, and then you're like, where did this wonderful room come from? So it's really cool, and so it's really good exposure, but because it's such a great venue, it's hard to get into. So that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm trying to get into places like that. As opposed to like, which I think is a great problem to have, because there were moments where I was like, I don't know what venue to play at because I don't know anything about LA. Like,
Yeah.
so there's growth in that. But so I wouldn't say it's not hard to find venues. It's hard to find the right venue.
Gotcha.
One that isn't pay to play. One that's going to give you a decent door deal. One that actually is there and supportive of the artists and are not just there to make a quick buck
Yeah.
or whatever political thing they're there for.
Yeah.
It's a collaborative two-way street effort
Mhm.
where everyone's just happy and they just want to work with each other. So that's the hard part.
Got it.
But it does get better. If you're listening and you're one of those people, it does get better. Just hustle.
Yeah. There's a cool place that I went to see someone perform on. It's Pico. Kickers first.
Okay. Is it Mint?
Not the Mint. This place is. It is Pico. It's kind of cool because it's behind like a restaurant kind of
Oh,
thing.
that is cool.
And you open up this door, and like you said, like where in
Right.
the world this come
Like
from?
it's like a
I've seen
speakeasy.
several people that, and it's like this. It looks like it also is a dance studio.
Oh.
But it's literally behind, because my friend lives right near the corner, and which is it's Pico and Ogden, because my friend lives on Ogden.
Okay.
Because like when you're driving down La Brea, so at first it's San Vicente, then I think it's Pico, and you hook the right, and then you go down to Ogden. It'll be on your left hand side. So it's got these big old windows. Looks like it's a warehouse or something, and that's where people
Oh,
eat.
wow.
But then you go in, and there's this door, and you open it up, and you're like, what?
Whoa.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And I've seen several shows there.
That's so cool.
I don't know if it's like a pay to play, but I know because then that also gives you like I don't know what geographic areas you target.
Oh,
Because see,
okay.
if you hit different geographical areas, because you know it's LA.
Right, of
Sometimes
LA,
folks
it's
like-
so much different culture.
Because if they want to come to the Mint, they can also come to this place. I think this place is a little bit more laid back, and it's bigger than the Mint
Okay.
because it's really deep. Looks like I said, it looks like it's also a
I feel
dance
like I
studio.
might have been in there, but it was smaller, so maybe not.
Because it has like a marley floor.
Okay, yeah, probably
And everything, because the Mint is, I filmed at the Mint and
Right, it's
gone
got
to show, so
stage
it's kind of,
and-
yeah, so it's kind of like very, yeah, like a bar with,
Mhm.
with table kind of thing. They have great shows there.
Not. Right.
But this place I think is even bigger and deeper, and it's a little bit, you can either make it very relaxed if you want just the folding chairs, or you could kind of dress it up if you want to
Cool.
around that kind of, like the thing we're doing at my place with, my friend is doing, Jamila, she's doing a place thing at my house, and my place is kind of like a New York brownstone. So that's kind of how my place is built, like really long, and then I have a raised dining room. So we put like 40 folding chairs in my living room.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
have
know
a,
you're
I have
talking
a
about
raised
that kind
dining room, and I have a piano already. So I put like a trio. And Jamila Ford, she's doing it in my place on October 20th. You can go to my Instagram page, and the Eventbrite is there. Get a ticket, come on in. I'll be singing a duet with her too, probably. So that you can also create whatever atmosphere you want, because I can do things like candles. You know, it creates a different type of atmosphere. You can make it like she's going to do a jazz show, very Nina Simone kind of thing, so we can make it feel that way, or you can
Nice.
make it feel however you want. And it's in a home, and then we just eat afterwards. You do it on a Sunday afternoon. So it's also one of those things where you can invite people, like select people if you want to just come jam. What I used to do before I did my shows, I used it as a workshop space.
Oh, wow.
I would workshop shows, especially because I had never performed solo before. I was so used to being in music theater, or
Right.
being a character. So I had to
Oh,
learn to be me.
Yeah. I got you. I've done that. Yeah.
So I
You're
did like, how do
I be myself
wait a minute,
again?
hold up, like, whoa, wait, say what? You know,
Yeah.
that whole bleeding thing.
Yeah.
So had them come in. I did 3 different shows. People helped me just like, and you brought in a trusted crowd.
Right.
Helped me pick music, wardrobe, the whole thing, presentation. I had like lighting going on. So that's also kind of like a different type of venue to do it as well. You can do like house concerts, or you could do the bigger forums. It just depends on what your target is, and also geographically. I know you probably want to hit different parts of town, because there's a lot of, like downtown LA.
Yeah.
You know, and further south. I just don't know where you want to go, and I don't know LA that well in regards to how they book stuff. But I'm just wondering.
Yeah, it's
like,
all different, and it just depends on the gig. I guess for right now, for money, I do street performing, and then I also have really laid back gigs where I'll kind of play background music and I get paid for it. But it's like people can participate if they want to, and like if they want to be like, hey, I really love this song, do you know it? And if I know it, I'll play it. I'll do that. So that's kind of like what I do for like the money, and I'll like put it up on my show schedule and be like, oh yeah, you can, like, if you want to come see me play background, you're more than welcome. Have some food, talk. And so I invite people to everything. And then I do venue shows probably every 6 weeks to every couple months.
So we're gonna make sure that everybody knows where to find that. Just a minute, but
Bands in town.
since we were talking about like doing home concerts and stuff.
Oh yeah, home.
Boom, bam. There we go.
It's called Home, and I wrote it. It fell out of my head one day because I'm crazy. And sometimes the most important thing in life is to find your home.
See, now you're being a DJ. Before she was like, oh, da da da. But see, there you go. See, nice
Because we've been
setup.
talking for so
Nice
long.
setup. Now I got a co-pilot over here. So I'm Gene happy listening to Just Keep It Moving Powerfully, and as my co-host and co-anchor now, just said Sarah Lightman. Let's sit back and check out Home.
That's funny. Because I was like, well, we keep talking, so I was like, I'll just say the title.
There we go.
I'm used to performing where they're like, wrap it up, get to the song. So I'm like,
Well, we only got like 3 minutes, so after
Right
this
now?
we gotta take it out. Because that's 5 minutes, I gotta cut it off and play. I'll take it out with one of my. I'm gonna. My last song is Till I See You Again. I'm gonna take it out with that. So we play almost every song except I Can't Be.
Yep. And so good.
that's so good.
Which one?
So good. It's actually.
Right, I had
And
that
Let Your
circle.
Light In.
I had that circle.
It's okay. And Let Your Light
Oh,
In.
that was probably one of the ones you're probably playing.
Which one? Okay, so which one would you prefer out of the three?
Until I see you again.
Just take it out.
No. Play it until I see you again.
Okay.
Yeah, take it out.
So how's it been? Has it been okay? Did you get to talk about what you want to talk about?
I think so. I mean, I'm not very specific about formats when it comes to talk shows. As long as it is a good way to connect with people and they feel genuine about their connection to hearing me. That's all that matters.
That's what I was hoping to give you
And
a
then
platform
they get
for.
some music.
So
Thank you, I appreciate it.
you can always come back too.
I would prefer.
Because we tried to time this one when this was coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So cool. And this is a weekly show?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Do it every Wednesday.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday. I used to do 2 guests, but it's too much
It's a lot to cover.
to even to like, cause like I've never done it at the last minute like I've done. You usually have conversations and stuff like that, or you can like the email stuff. You have to really get it in my head. Format stays the same, but like to get more ideas of what I want to do.
Okay.
But I've been working this gig since it's been.
Yeah, I got you.
So, and then to make sure I'm getting people logistics, like you called me, like, how do I get here? I'm staying outside, like, all the work that goes into even getting you to that seat, you know, to do it right. It takes, that's why I'm so glad I have behind now, police to do all this. And I had asked for other students to help me out with the other stuff. And one girl said, oh, sure, I want to do it. And then she's supposed to call me and, like, she, instead of calling me or texting me to tell me she could make it, she emailed me, which I never got. I'm sitting there waiting for her to call me. Oh, can we push the call? Like, why didn't you, like, text me or something? So then,
Right,
like,
she has your number.
right, she did. And so then I was like, okay, you always get a second chance. So like, okay, so let's do it like blah blah blah, the time to talk, and then she just goes to me, never heard from her. Like this dude right, matter of fact, I told Professor how good you're. This young man right here has a future. On time,
I told you he's the catalyst.
on time, so pleasant,
Thank you.
gets the stuff done like way before I would even think of like doing like multiple stuff, you know. People don't have this kind of work ethic that you have now. In this business, this I do
You
know
need
from working
it.
in this business takes you very far, very very far. So
Yeah, people ask me all the time, like, oh, so how did you get that? I'm like, hustle.
do what you say you're gonna
If you're
do.
my friend, of course I'll help you get it. I'll give you an intro, but it's on you after that.
Right?
Yeah. Am I your manager?
It's like good old fashioned. You just gotta take care of business.
Right.
You gotta take care of
Like I'm
business.
supportive, but I can't do your legwork.
Yeah. So that's why I now just do one artist because I want to make sure I'm doing it right, and I don't want because I already feel like I'm missing steps and stuff, and I don't want to do that. I want this program to stay at the level. That's why another radio station sought me out to do it. So that's why I just keep it at one. And I think it's more fun to keep going longer
Most
too
people do like
with one person. Just take the 2 hours and just go. You know. Yes, folks, we are going home. She just took us home. I'm feeling a little bit. Got the shoulders jumping in here like, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah.
It does have that feel.
Sarah, it has been wonderful, and as always, we run out of time.
It's okay.
So, go ahead, plug everything. Tell us where we can find you.
You know, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope. I kind of dabbled TikTok a little, sometimes. And then I have an emailing list. If you go to my website, sarah-lightman.com, Sarah with an H. Lightman is light, man, one word. .com. You can sign up for my emailing list. And then I'm also on Bands in Town and Songkick, in addition to my website, where you can get my show schedule. And I highly recommend going to them before coming to a show, because every so often, last minute, the booker's like, hey, can we change the time? Hey, I'm sorry, I'm sick. So just make sure that it's happening. Just go to the site. And if you have questions or anything, or you want to let me know what you thought of this session, feel free to reach out. I'm on one of those platforms. I'm happy to hear from you.
Yeah, we'd love for you to do that too. Go on Instagram, and I'm GTAP LLC on Instagram, and you can tell us if you like the show, if you didn't like the show, if you wanted to come back, if you don't. Of course, you're going to say, yes, we love the show, and yes, we wanted to come back. You will tell us which was your favorite song, and we love you for being here. And Sarah, watch out, folks. This is a powerful force over here. This is a powerful force lady over here. I'm gonna sit back again and go, yep, I knew her when. Can I be your administrative assistant? I knew you when.
Okay.
And it's just been a delight, because we've never really had a chance to talk much. We every now and then hit each other messages on Instagram, but to sit here and have this has been great. And now I feel like we're in the family groove, you know.
Have that bond.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you were so gracious from the time I met you anyway.
Oh,
At
thank
Republic
you.
of Pie. You know, it was just that I think it's that East Coast thing. Yes, we both East Coasters, so it's that vibe.
But also, Ty the sound guy here
Ty the
told me
sound
how
guy.
I needed to approach my fans and how they're not going to go up to me, and I was really shy. So I was like, okay, I'll just pretend not to be shy. So that's what I started doing.
Yeah.
So it's his fault,
Yeah.
really.
It's a good fault to have, Ty.
He has a lot of fault.
Yeah. And I gotta thank again I give him all kinds of titles. My co-producer, my videographer, my editor, my all-around just great support system, Vahan Vosisian. I did it. He gave me a thumbs up. Vosisian, correct?
Movsisian.
Movsisian.
There you go.
See, that's why I should just left it alone. Movsisian.
There you go.
If you need a guy that can get the job done for you, you need to reach out to this young man, because he is definitely the one, and he has a future in this business. You know, the work ethic is amazing, and he just had a birthday last week. He turned
Happy
22.
Mm-hmm.
He double
you.
deuces, and he has a work ethic of somebody that has been around a long time, and that's what gets you far. So let me know if you need this man. He is available, and just don't steal him away from me, please. And thank you for being with me, folks. It's been great, and I want to end my show the way I always do with a quote from the great Hal Jackson. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. When you're walking down the street, you see someone coming, just smile and say hello. Doesn't matter what their reaction is, just share your light, share your joy. Because they may not get it that minute, or maybe they will. But eventually they're going to remember that smile. They're going to remember that hello when they're at a place when they needed someone to just care enough to say hello. And that's what we need more of in this world. Just a simple hello, or just a simple smile. But just know that it's always important to be nice. Just take a breath, no matter what your situation is. Just take that little, okay, let me just bring it down. And just even give a little bit of a grin, or put light in your eyes. And just let someone else see that, because we need a lot of that in the world right now. So that's how I like to end it, and you know that every time you listen to me. I'm GTAP, and again, you can find me on Instagram at GTAP LLC, GTAP LLC. You can also listen to this broadcast. It will be uploaded onto my SoundCloud page, and it will also be on YouTube, thanks to Bahan. And that will be Greg Tapscott on SoundCloud. Just look for a guy in a purple shirt with his head turned sideways. And you'll be able to listen to this episode. And I want to thank my guest again, Sarah Lightman, and Ty, the sound guy. And we're going to take you out with a wonderful song by Sarah called Until I See You Again. And that's again for me and G-Tap, and thank you for listening to Just Keep It Moving Powerful.
Hey.
There we go.
Yay!
Is that cool?
Yeah, it was great.
You know what this reminds me of? I'm gonna give you a song from the 70s, this beginning. It's called Disco Lady.
Yeah.
Move it in, disco lady. It goes, move it out, move it in, something all about disco lady. It's got the same right
The feel.
in the 70s when I was little.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I think it is it.